Hey everybody, good afternoon. Apologies, we're a few minutes late getting started today. I'm Elise Hand and I'll be your moderator again today. In just a moment, Scott Tingley, Manager of Forest Protection, Dave Steeves, Public Information Officer with the Department of Natural Resources, and Andrew Mitton, Director of Regional Operations at the Department of Emergency Management, will provide you with an update on the wildfire situation in Nova Scotia. And following their remarks, they'll take one question and one follow-up. If there is time after the first round of questions, I'll circle back and offer an additional question. Please use the raise hand function at the bottom of your screen under the reaction section to ask a question. And if you don't have access to a mic today, you can raise your quest or put your questions rather in the chat, but please also use the raise hand function. We do have a hard stop at 2:30 to allow Scott, Dave, and Andrew to get back to managing fires. And a final reminder that outside of this media availability, please direct all questions about wildfires to wildfirecomms@novascotia.ca. And we will get started with Scott.
Thanks, Lise, and good afternoon, everybody. So in Nova Scotia today, there are still 3 active wildfires. One of those is under control and 2 are under control. So those 2 under control being the fire in Susie Lake and the one in Hilltown, Digby County. Department of Natural Resources responded to reports of 2 fires in the past 24 hours. Currently, the fire weather index remains high to very high and still extreme in several areas of the province. Most of the province is still under high to very high. We don't anticipate a significant reduction in that. There's really still no significant rain in the immediate forecast that's going to change that situation. And we're working very closely with meteorologists and fire behavior analysts to assess the Hurricane Erin storm coming this weekend. In the province, over the past 24 hours and in today, we've been able to, again, receive support from the air from the province of New Brunswick. They have some CL-215T aircraft from the province of Alberta on loan in New Brunswick, which they've been able to send over and support us for several hours a day, doing what we call a quick strike. So those aircraft remain based in New Brunswick, so in the province that they're working for. But through our mutual aid agreements, we're able to very quickly order up, some drops of water when they can free it up when their fire situation allows. So that's what we call a quick strike. And again, organized very efficiently through our mutual aid agreements with the other provinces. We have 4 Air Tractor 802 skimmer aircraft. So those are the smaller skimming aircraft. They can drop about 800 gallons per drop. They're in a group of 4. They're from the Northwest Territories and they're based here in Nova Scotia, and will be for an extended period here until at least we no longer require them. We also have a group of 2 CL-415 air tankers that are inbound from Manitoba. We're expecting their arrival shortly, early this afternoon. They'll be briefed provincially and then assigned. It'll be based at CFB Greenwood, supporting the large fire, but also available if we get additional fires and new starts around the province that we want to action quickly. We also have 3 helicopters that are inbound. They've been inbound for a couple of days now, coming across from Saskatchewan. They've run into some weather delays crossing through Ontario and Quebec, but we're anticipating one of those to be arriving shortly, early this afternoon, and a couple more to be arriving later in the day. We currently have 2 contracted helicopters based in the province, and one of them is currently assigned down to the Long Lake fire. Our DNR aircraft are being dedicated to initial attack to quickly knock down new starts, so ground crews can get them under control. That remains, one of our top priorities for the wildfire program right now. Is any new fire that starts, we attack, certainly safely but aggressively, preventing them from growing as quick as we can. So other aircraft may be deployed for this purpose as well. again, it's all a coordinated effort between supporting the large fire and any new fires that we get. So we are very grateful for the use of CFB Greenwood base for fixed wing resources that are coming into the province. So that's a provincial overview, and I'll turn it over to Dave Steeves to speak to the Long Lake Fire.
Thank you, Scott. Just an update here as to what's happening at the Long Lake. So our status is still out of control. Our area still sits at 3,210 hectare, and we have a number of resources available and active in the field today. So we're looking at out of province resources, 22 from Ontario, 5 from Prince Edward Island. We've got over 95 Department of Natural Resources staff out there, 25 volunteer fire department members, and they come with all of their apparatus and equipment. And there's an extensive amount of heavy machinery out there, and everybody is working diligently, to say the very least. The forecasted weather for today is fair. It is relatively good working conditions. Our winds are somewhat mild, starting out of the east, moving to the south, and then shifting back around to the west. So they're kind of moving in kind of a U-shaped pattern. And our folks on the ground are well aware of this. Even though the winds are relatively light, we have to be aware of the direction that the wind is coming out of and what it's moving into, just to ensure that we're keeping everybody safe on the ground. Our spread indices are relatively moderate, but the big issue remains fuel moisture and the drought conditions that persist really right across the province. The precipitation that we received a number of days ago was anywhere between 8 to 10. The benefit of that moisture is gone, and we are back into a serious drying trend. So for the days to come, our fire weather is going to continue to build on itself, and with each passing day, the fuels continue to get a bit more dry. In regards to the operational period from yesterday, it was a good working day for our crews. They concentrated extensive work up on the northern boundary where the fire actually crossed the North Dalhousie Road. We were able to get a very good amount of dozer break up into that area, and we're reinforcing those breaks with traditional hose lines. So there's a lot of good stuff going on there. That was the leading edge of the fire, and the closest area up there in and around the homes. So we're paying attention to that spot and putting a lot of good hard work in there. Other areas of the fire on the flanks, the left and right flank, our crews are continuing to build dozer guards, and they're actually making extensive ground. There are a number of areas that the heavy equipment are not able to access, so we've moved actual ground crews in there, and we're doing our very best to facilitate those crews with the equipment that they need to progress quickly. As Scott had mentioned before, there is very minimal growth in regards to the perimeter, so that's a good thing. But with the forecasted weather that is possibly on the way, we're looking at this situation very seriously from every possible angle to put contingency plans in place and ensure the safety of everybody on the ground. But we are taking this one operational period at a time. And my colleague Andrew Mitton is here, and he can answer any questions that the folks in the room may have in regards to some of the other agencies that are in here.
Okay, thanks so much, Dave, and thanks, Scott. And yes, Andrew is also here today to answer questions. Just a reminder, when you do ask your question, just if you can, direct it to either Scott, Dave, or Andrew, and we'll start with Ian Fairclough with Chronicle Herald. Ian, go ahead.
Hey there. Just wondering, to date, has most of the spread just been moving along through the forest, or has there been any spotting happening?
Well, most of the fire that's actually out there now is fuels that had been left over from the initial pass of the primary fire. There is some activity, obviously, on the perimeter, but most of it seems to be inside the perimeter. So crews are addressing stuff as quickly as we can, because given the fuel moisture levels that are out there, spotting potential is very real, according to the numbers that we look at every day. Fuels are very dry, so it's something that we're trying to get on top of right away. spotting can be dangerous for the folks in the field, so it's not something that we really want to mess with. If we can address them right away, we always try to.
And just as a follow-up, just wondering how many pieces of heavy equipment you have clearing those fire breaks around.
Off the top of my head, I don't actually have a number of the number of the actual pieces of heavy equipment right in front of me here. I apologize for that. I can get that number for you. But I do know there are a number, and I mean an extensive number of pieces of heavy equipment on each flank. And they have done very impressive work to date. Our air resources that are out there are actually supporting them in their efforts, ensuring that the line is cool enough for them to get in there and do their job and be effective.
Okay, thanks very much. Next, we'll go to Sheldon McLeod with MBS Radio.
Thank you for that, Elise. I'm not sure exactly who this should be directed to, but I'm wondering about, do you have adequate human resources? If not, when will you be calling for more reinforcements, and will that involve any volunteer firefighters?
I guess. Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
Sorry, I was just going to say on the generally with the firefighting effort, currently, we feel we're adequately resourced for the strategy and the objectives we're trying to meet. The large fire has requested additional crews, which we started working on 2 days ago. So they're inbound. The first extra group of firefighters is inbound, scheduled today, and we're expecting an additional group of firefighters to arrive tomorrow, and that's been coordinated through the Canadian Emergency Forest Fire Center. So that's the wildland firefighters that would be mobilizing across the country between the wildfire agencies. But yeah, I'll turn to Andrew to the volunteer contingent.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Sheldon. So as far as David mentioned, that we have about 25 volunteer fire departments at any given time here. We've been fluctuating between 40 to 50 volunteer firefighters that come along with that apparatus to help assist and focus on some of the structural protection that we're coordinating.
Yeah, my apologies. Rejoin the conversation. Yeah, for a follow-up, what is exactly the classification of the Susie's Lake fire right now, and when do you expect it to change to the next classification?
Yes, Susie's Lake is still classified as under control. So we still have staff at the fire. They've been advised, I guess, that they've been monitoring that fire, so walking through it and using their nose, and they're feeling around. They haven't found any hot spots on that fire for at least 2 days now, and that's a really good sign. But they're not letting their guard down. They're going to continue to monitor. They'll probably start removing some equipment, hose and things like that, slowly off the fire between today and tomorrow. So it's still probably a couple days out at least before they're ready to even start talking about declaring it fully extinguished. So we're going to maintain a presence there and just keep monitoring, but it's very, very promising signs that they're not finding any hot spots.
Thanks so much. Selena Alders with CBC.
Thanks, Elise. I'm wondering, I suppose this would be probably for Scott, wondering if you can give us an update on the 4 new DNR helicopters that are on order.
There hasn't been any recent updates. 2 were scheduled to be received this fiscal year, and from what I understand, the earliest one was sometime this fall. But we're scheduled to receive 2 this fiscal year, and then 2 after April 1 next year.
Okay, and wondering if you could just remind us, how many does DNR currently have in its fleet, and how many of those are operational?
So the fleet is 4. 1 is obviously unserviceable right now since the crash. So we have 3 that are operational.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Next, we'll go to Callum Smith with CTV.
Thank you very much. I know you mentioned the wind from Hurricane Erin, but how confident are you that this fire will be contained before taking out any homes?
Maybe I'll start, Dave, and maybe you can add some specific context. Yeah, I mean, I believe the team is feeling, pretty good about the work that's been done. That's where almost all of the energy is being put right now, is in and around the vicinity of the homes, and particularly where the fire crossed the West Dalhousie Road. That's the top priority, where the homes and infrastructure that could be threatened, in any kind of wind scenario. That's where they are. So to the west and the south of the fire, not so much a concern for homes and infrastructure at the moment, um, but there is certainly potential for growth of that fire given the wind patterns that are going to be coming on the weekend. Um, there's timber values, obviously, and natural resources that we'd certainly want to mitigate as much impact to. But Dave, I'd maybe speak to the team. You're right with them, but I think they're feeling pretty good about their efforts.
Yeah, there's been an extensive amount of work done up there, given the proximity to the homes. With wildland fire, you can really never say anything with 100% certainty. But there's a lot of people up there doing a lot of really good work, and if it's something that we can put into place to mitigate an issue, we're certainly going to try to do that. So.
Thank you very much. Just before a follow-up, Mr. Mitton, it keeps popping to you, at least for my screen. I don't know if you're able to mute if you're not answering, perhaps. Apologies for that. Just it's switching back and forth. In terms of a follow-up, I think, Dave, you mentioned forecasted weather. We'll need very serious contingency plans. What would that look like, and could crews be pulled from responding during winds?
Well, firefighter safety is of the utmost importance to all of us here at DNR. So we have actually in-house, we have weather specialists as well as fire behavior analysts, and a big part of their job is analyzing what could potentially come down the road in conjunction with the fuels that are available on site. So we have people out there right now having a look at, what could possibly be in the fire's path and the best way to safely address those issues. But if winds pick up to an extent where it's deemed unsafe, then we will have to pull crews back just to ensure the safety of everybody that's close to the front.
Thanks very much. Next, we'll go to Natasha O'Neill with City News.
Hi. I think my first question is probably to Dave. But I'm wondering, just for clarification purposes, it seems like when we're talking about the winds picking up and the conditions drying out, it sounds like we're really anticipating things to start going in the wrong direction starting tonight into tomorrow. Is that correct?
Well, I guess what I can say is in the wildland environment, the smallest variable can change everything. So we're really trying to do our very best to plan for every possible scenario. In my last discussion, we're trying to look forward. Friday seems to be kind of the line in the sand, but we're doing our best to plan for every operational period. And as we all know, in Nova Scotia, the weather changes from moment to moment, and sometimes computer modeling is the best tool that we have, and sometimes even that is off. So our specialists are doing the best that they can to give us the pertinent information so that we're able to make the best possible decisions for our people that are out on the front.
And as a follow-up, I'm just kind of wondering, this fire's been happening since well over a week now, and it's obviously grown quite quickly. I'm just kind of wondering, on the ground, crews, how are we all feeling? How's the morale? Are we getting tired? That sort of thing.
Well, I'll tell you, the people in the community have just been incredible, very welcoming, and they've gone really out of their way to do everything that they can for the first responders here. The fire departments that are here are all community members or from the surrounding area, and they're tired. It's been over around a week, so some of these folks they're getting tired, but morale is good. There's lots of hard work to do. But the attitudes seem very positive. There's lots of information transfer going back and forth. Agencies are discussing with agencies. Everybody really is on the same page. So I feel like we're in a really good spot moving forward. We just have some issues in the road that we're going to prepare and do our very best to tackle.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Natasha. And thanks, Dave. Jake Webb with Global News. Go ahead.
Hi there. Thank you. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit more about the effects that Aaron would have on wildfire operations, especially as it relates to Long Lake.
Well, the issues with possible increased winds is the fuels that are actually in the area. A lot of times when we look to address wildfire, we look for things what we refer to as natural breaks. So it can be, large lakes or unfavorable fuels or swampy areas or even large road systems. But in this particular area, there's a lot of softwood that kind of is never ending. So that is really what has caused this volatile fire behavior from the first few initial days. And then when it starts to approach any type of residential area, that just adds another whole level to what our response is. So really it's the available fuels and the drought conditions as well, combined with the extremely low moisture levels that we find ourselves faced with in the fuels. So that's always an issue, but given how dry everything it is, or that it has been over the last little while, it's added another level to our response for sure, because it makes it dangerous. And like I said, we try to plan as best we can for the folks on the ground and give them the safest possible path to get out there and do their job.
Jake,
Okay,
did
thank
you have a
you.
follow-up question?
Yes, I did. Scott, you mentioned you were working with experts to assess and prepare for Aaron. I was wondering what that work kind of looked like.
At the Provincial Wildfire Center here in Shubenacadie, we actually have a meteorologist on site who's working with a fire growth modeler. So we're working with computer software, and trained expertise in fire behavior. So they're assessing like Dave said, the fuels, the weather, the topography, and doing their very best to try to map and model, what this fire might do given the weather conditions, as well as on the fire. Part of the team on site, we also have a fire behavior analyst who's supporting the data collection right at the fire site. So we're trying to be as accurate and precise as we can. There's a lot of variables, like Dave said, but we've definitely got a very strong team that's working on providing the best intelligence to the team that's managing the fire. So.
We'll go to Nathan Coleman with the Weather Network.
Thank you. Yes, I had a question about Aaron as well. Some of them have already been asked, but just wondering kind of, I guess, Scott, like how rare is it to be having to monitor a hurricane while you're, actively fighting a forest fire? And if the path of it staying offshore has been a relief, or are you still quite concerned about, even winds 30 gusting to 50?
It's rare. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and it's the first time I've encountered this. But we're used to getting rugged weather in this part of the country. So dealt with high winds before, but I guess one benefit with a system like this is we've had quite an advanced notice that it's coming, and the working with the meteorologists and the growth modelers, we've had that advantage of multiple days to prepare. So that's been a huge advantage. Yeah, but it's rare and something we certainly hoped we weren't going to run into, but it's what we're facing. So that's what we're going to plan for and deal with.
Okay, thank you. And just to follow up, like longer range, are you looking at the prospect of rain on Monday helping?
We'll take any rain we can get. It still doesn't look, and Nathan, maybe you have some good news for us, but the latest I'd heard, it still doesn't look like anything significant enough. These smaller, rain events are certainly enough to take the edge off, for a day or two. But like Dave said, even the precipitation that we had a couple days ago, the benefit of that is kind of all but gone now, and we're back into a drying trend. So we'll certainly take anything we can get.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Nathan. Lindsay Armstrong with the Canadian Press.
Thank you so much. Recognizing a question for Dave. Recognizing the fire is about the same size as it was yesterday, I'm wondering if you can describe the type of progress that's been made since yesterday. And is this the second day in a row now that the fire has not grown? Is that right?
Yep, correct. There are very small areas around the perimeter, where maybe it has jumped over a few feet, but it's nothing, that's even measurable. The determination and the hard work of the firefighters, both DNR and structural, that are in the field, and the heavy machine operators as well. They've really all pulled together for a common goal to come together to do what they can for the betterment of this community. There has been an incredible amount of hard work, teamwork, overcoming adversity. It's been something to see, to be honest with you. And we will get through this. It's just not going to be today. But when this is all said and done, they should feel very proud of what they have been able to accomplish.
Thank you so much. And for follow-up, I'm wondering if you're able to say if the fire is any closer today to those nearby homes compared to yesterday, recognizing, just as you said, sort of very small moves. Are those houses any more or less at risk compared to yesterday?
I missed that. Scott, did you catch that?
Yeah, I did. I think the question was, or maybe you could repeat the question. Probably better you repeat it than I try to.
Yeah, sure. I'm wondering about how close the fire is to those nearby homes today compared to yesterday, if those homes are any more or less at risk.
Yeah, they're no more at risk today than they were this time yesterday. And as I had mentioned before, the crews have really focused on this area in conjunction with the hard work from our folks with emergency management. The structures were one of the largest priorities that we've had on this incident, and they're continuing to focus on that northern area of the fire to do their very best to ensure that we can get this area wrapped and reinforce those guards with some good old-fashioned hose work as well.
Okay, thanks very much. And I know we're just past 2:30. We're going to stay on for a couple more minutes where we started a few minutes late. I know we do need to get you folks back to managing fires. So let's quickly go to Angelie with CBC.
Hi, so I think this is a question for Scott, potentially. DNR recently posted photos saying firefighters saved a memorial site for an RAF training plane that crashed into the West Dalhousie area during the Second World War. It has a cross with a memorial plaque to 2 service members who died in the crash, and the remnants of the plane have been left on the site. Can you tell us how they saved the site, which has historical significance, and was the fire break dug around it?
But Dave, do you have any specific details?
I do. One of our division supervisors, who is actually from the area, had some local knowledge as to the significance of this within the community. He was down there on some of his regular duties, and during that time, he knew about this and went not out of his way, but he did his very best to ensure the safety of this memorial while he was down there. It's kind of a nice story within an incident that's been tough on a lot of people. So it's the memorial is still there, thanks to the hard work and winds kind of moving in a favorable direction in regards to where the actual physical memorial was. So it's still in good shape.
Okay, thanks very much. We'll go to the Annapolis Valley Register next.
Hi, this is a question for Andrew, I think. Just can you speak to how many sprinklers are being used, where they're coming from, and how vital they are to protecting those homes, Andrew?
Yeah, thanks, Jason. We've seen the proof of the value of the sprinklers. We've got currently 61 structures protected, and we've seen they're operating as they've intended to reduce the risk and help protect the homes that they've been put on. for statistics, I spoke to the team out there doing the work, and we flowed just over 500,000 gallons of water onto and around those properties, and it's worked well.
And where are they coming from?
Sorry, yes. So the sprinkler kits, we've through some really good partnerships through Kedzie Park, Halifax Regional Fire and Emergency Services, and some municipal fire departments. They've brought their sprinkler protection kits for us to deploy.
Thank you, Andrew.
And we do have time for one more question, so we'll go to Acadia Broadcasting.
Just with the anticipation of Aaron's arrival and potential high winds, wondering if there is any additional advisories for the public that they should observe in the event we do see high winds over the weekend, any additional precautions they should take when wildfire risk remains so high with high winds.
I mean, I think we would keep, with our general messaging, the proclamations around open fires and woods travel are still in place. And so the risk is still very high of new fires starting and spreading quickly. So we still need everybody to pitch in and help us not get new starts. And in terms of the large fire, again, we're going to monitor that weather and plan and strategize accordingly as the weather forecasting and models get closer to the date. Yeah, I don't know if Dave or Andrew, you had anything else down in Long Lake specifically?
I guess I would just add, Scott, that we do have the current evacuation area that's sufficient for the conditions at this time, but we're working closely with the team at DNR and the environment folks. Really, my message is just, and I preach this message every day in the work that I do, but really it's just for self-preparedness. And whether you're living in a community next to this fire, living in a community in another part of the province, we know it's dry, we know what the conditions are like, and people should just be prepared to move on a moment's notice if need be.
Okay, folks, we're going to have to leave it there to allow our panel to get back to managing fires. Thanks very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
Thank you. Take care.